Good morning and good day, everybody. I'm happy to have you with us today. I'm Mike Henderson with the Fruition Partners marketing team. Our webinar today is entitled Everything You Need to Know About Jakarta. You'll meet our presenter in a second, but he'll be highlighting some of the coolest new features and enhancements that you can expect to find in Jakarta. So if you've been with us in the past for a webinar, you may have taken notice of the new look here. To catch you up, Fruition Partners is now a DXC technology company. Details can be found on either Fruition Partners or DXC's website, but in short, we are still the exclusive partner of ServiceNow, just now with support of nearly 200,000 employees in more than 70 countries. Which means we now have a more enhanced portfolio of platform services and solutions, which is great news for you. So last thing, just in case you need to leave the webinar early or would like to revisit the content that is presented today, the webinar is being recorded and will be available on fruitionpartners.com before end of this week. So with all that out of the way, that's enough from me. I'm going to go ahead and pass things off to Dakota. Thanks, Dakota.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. All right, so yeah, like Mike was saying, this is everything you need to know about Jakarta. We're just going to highlight a few things that we feel are very interesting, and then we'll also provide some additional information of where you can find all the latest Jakarta features, release notes, etc. So jumping in here to the intro, if I can get this slide to go to next, there we go. Our agenda today, we went through our introduction. We're going to talk about the Now platform overall and a few new applications there. Some updates to performance analytics, field service management, some updates to human resources, enterprise onboarding and transition applications. And then, if we have time, some additional Jakarta features, and then cover any questions at the end. I'll go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Dakota Walker. I'm an architect with Fruition Partners. I've been working with ServiceNow for about 7 years now. So I've seen a lot of these different releases, and definitely Jakarta is the best so far, the latest and greatest. They are moving towards a lot of machine learning as well as just guided steps that we'll talk about a little later. So it's pretty cool. And next thing we'll do, Mike, I'll actually turn it back over to you for a couple of poll questions that we're going to ask.
Yeah, we just have one poll question. Just want to ask everybody up front, kind of a good warm-up to kind of get you engaged, but also give you a sense of, how your organization compares to others out there who are using ServiceNow. So simple poll question. I'm going to go ahead and launch it. Everybody should see it up on your screen. But if you can't, basically the poll question is asking, which ServiceNow release are you currently on? Options are Geneva, Helsinki, Istanbul, Jakarta, and then I don't know. So we'll give everybody about 10 more seconds to vote. Then we'll go ahead and close the poll, share the results, and then keep the presentation moving on. So we still have some responses coming in. I'll give it 5 more seconds to do the countdown. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, we'll go ahead and close that and share the results. So here we go. So again, the question was, which ServiceNow release are you currently on? We have 8% on Geneva, 42% on Helsinki, 44% on Istanbul, 3% already on Jakarta. Nice, props to you. And then 2%, I don't know. So I'll go ahead and hide those. And back to you, Dakota.
Thanks. Yeah, and just a comment on that poll. It's definitely good to see, obviously, the 3% on Jakarta. Our recommendation is to try to stay on the latest release, but we do know that there is a lot of testing involved, and upgrading to a new release. So definitely try to stay on the latest one. It's going to help with some issues that ServiceNow is going in and fixing, and they're going to release those out in their patch updates and so on. It's also best for security to stay on the latest release. But also props to the people in Istanbul. And it's definitely, like I said, difficult to stay on the latest release, but it's always good to have the latest features and so on. And for the 2% that said, I don't know, definitely check if you are an administrator. That's something you should know. If you're not an administrator, then yeah, it's not such a big deal. All right. So jumping right into our agenda, first of all, talk about the Now platform. So ServiceNow, they changed their name of the platform in this release from the ServiceNow platform to the Now platform. So a little bit easier to say. You don't have to say the full ServiceNow platform. As a part of the Now platform, a couple of the new applications that we want to talk about, or I'm going to be talking about today, one being the Guided Tour Designer, and two being the Instance Security Dashboard. And also, here's a link for all the new and updated features as part of the Jakarta release. Just if you go to the doc site and search on Jakarta release notes, you'll find this link here. And that's going to detail out everything that I'm talking about today and a lot more as far as updated features with Jakarta. So going into the Guided Tour Designer, this is a feature that I'm really excited about. This is something that we've seen different customers do, do a customization around to try to get some more guided steps, do some integrations to use other tools to do these guided steps. So it's really cool to see ServiceNow actually build this application into the Now platform. So what this application allows you to do, allows an administrator or someone with those privileges to access this application, they can actually create step-by-step demonstrations on these forms. It's going to be across the entire Now platform. So if you want to guide somebody through how to fill out the incident form, change form, etc., you can build a step-by-step process of how to do that. And then basically all you have to do to create one of these guided tours is you add these tour steps and a call out with the particular information that you want that user to know, and then add a trigger. So is that trigger going to be by them selecting a specific element on the form, hovering over something, clicking next, and so on. And just looking over here in this image, basically this is the Guided Tour Designer application. It's going to give you another pop-up here. On the right-hand side, you're going to see your call-outs. So this right here is an example of a call-out too. So you can pick, the different design, how you want that to fall on the page. You can add different steps down here. Excuse me. Once you add the steps, you can then drag those over where those steps are actually going to interact on your form. And then from there, of course, you're going to type in your information and what that trigger is going to be. Also down here, we have our tour action button. So if you want to actually go in and test from this tour designer, you can hit play, and then that's going to take you down the tour that you've created. Or you can exit out of this and just go back to the standard form. One thing to note too, when you are building this, it's nice to kind of have an outline, even if that's on paper or in a Word doc. It's nice to have an outline of kind of what you're looking for as a part of your guided tour, your step-by-step process before you actually start building it in the tool. But the tool is very flexible. You can just start building it right in the tool and do some testing here to view that. Next thing that I think is also very cool is the Instance Security Dashboard. So what this dashboard allows you to do, it's going to be a place for your admin to go. It's going to be just a single view of all your security controls. And it's going to allow you to educate any security teams for compliance or audit. And it's going to provide the admin with guided steps and best practices to actually go and set up the security within your environment. And to get to this application, it's going to be under the security, system security, instance security dashboard. Once you click that, you're going to see a compliance score, and it's going to give you a rating if that is low, moderate, high, for being within the good security compliance. One other thing to note, don't customize this dashboard. ServiceNow says it's going to be very important for you to receive the most up-to-date security. If they add any new settings, any new categories here, it's going to be very important to receive that on your dashboard so you can see your accurate score there. Looking over here, so you can see your compliance score right here and up here. And then if you actually click on the continue button, that's going to take you to all the different categories that you're seeing. So security around authentication, attachment, managing your session, security best practices, communication, and various other categories. You can click through on this left-hand section over here through each category. And each category is going to give you a percentage of how many steps that you went through and completed there. If you've not completed all, then it'll say status in progress. If you have, it'll say status complete. From there, if you continue down a certain path, like on authentication, for example, that's going to take you down sections that you've not completed yet. It'll give you the best practice around that. So you can either configure it to the best practice, or you can configure it to maybe whatever your security standards are. And then you can continue on to the next step or next category. So the goal here is to try to guide the administrator, give them best practices around these security pieces, and allow them to easily implement those so your instance is fully secure. It's also nice, definitely, to have this one dashboard. If you are talking with a security team, they're wondering what kind of security ServiceNow has to offer, you can take them right here to this dashboard and show them a quick snapshot.
Hey, Dakota, Mike here. Before you move to the next slide on performance analytics, I just wanted to interject because we had a good question from one of our attendees. Mark, for your question, you had asked, what license is needed to view guided tours? And he's thinking about end user training. Is that something you can answer?
Yeah. So when I was looking into guided tours, it was just a free plugin, I believe, with the standard subscription that you can activate. And definitely for end users, it's great for them to have those guided steps, help them fill out the forms completely. So it's definitely something you can utilize for that.
Okay, and then just one more question. I don't want to throw you off too much here, but we had a question around the security dashboard. Denise is asking, so the security dashboard is a free application then, right?
I believe so. I would need to double check, but you can find that information on the doc site if you actually go there and search on the Instance Security Dashboard. If it is an added cost, it's going to tell you right up at the top that you're going to need some type of premium subscription or not.
Okay. Thanks, Dakota. We had a couple more questions, but hopefully we'll have some time at the end to get to them. So I'll pass it back to you. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks. Yeah, and as Mike was saying, just feel free to throw your questions in there. Hopefully we have some time at the end. We can cover those. All right, so the next topic, performance analytics. These are some of the things that are new or updated within performance analytics that are pretty cool, that involve machine learning interactive analysis, new UI. So very good updates to the performance analytics application. There are other updates and new features, so you can definitely find those under those Jakarta release notes or under the performance analytics release notes on the doc sites as well. So jumping into our advanced forecasting, this is something that is really cool as far as trending. So it's going to allow you to make decisions based on that predictive trending for real-time adaptive machine learning algorithms. So looking at this report over here, we can see this section right here is going to be your real data that's in your environment that your performance analytics widget is reporting off of. And then on this section here that I have highlighted, that's going to be your forecast line. So based on that algorithm, it's saying that, you know, this is the probable trend that this report is going to follow. So that's something that you can definitely, hopefully, make decisions on, you know, in the future. Now, jumping into the interactive analysis, you know, this is also very cool. From any list view or score, if you right-click and select Launch Interactive Analysis, this is going to pop up a dashboard of different reports based on what you selected within your list view and so on. Also on the right, you'll have various filters that you can select, and that's going to change the data on this screen that pops up. And I have noted here that this one does require your Performance Analytics Premium license. So if you don't have that, if you're just doing the kind of trial incident version, you won't have this available within the environment. One cool thing that's a part of performance analytics and also just in the reporting application in general that you can use throughout the entire platform is the report designer. So this really, it's going to give new users, end users, anybody that has access to the reporting application, it's going to give them the ability to build reports, meaningful reports with kind of a guided step feature too. So, you know, as the users going through these different steps to build the reports, they can definitely make modifications as far as what table they're reporting off of, the different type of reports that they want to see, so bar charts, pie charts, time series, etc. And then they can go through the various configurations of doing filters and so on to get the specific data that they're looking for. To get to this reporting designer, if you have the Jakarta release, all you have to do is go to the reports application and hit create new, and it's going to throw you right into this. There is a link up here in the top right that will allow you to switch back to the classic UI. Maybe if you don't want to, you know, throw your users right into this kind of view, you want to give them a little training or something beforehand, you can switch back to the classic UI and then switch back to the new when ready. And again, this can be used for any reporting and also performance analytics if needed. So something very cool, you know, it takes you step by step through. You still need to know what table you're reporting off of, what kind of data you're trying to view as well, but much easier for the user with these guided steps here. Next application we're going to talk about, there are some updates to the field service management application. Mainly the key addition here was the field services manager module. So when a manager goes in, they select this, they're going to see other links underneath that module. They'll see My Team section. It'll give them a list of agents that they're managing. Another great cool feature here is the team calendar. So it's going to just be a calendar view of all the work order tasks that are assigned to the agents underneath that manager. So you can see If one team member is over allocated, then you can maybe move some of the work order tasks around, make it more even for your team members. You can also manage skills. So if you have a group that have, let's say, integration skills related to ServiceNow versus just typical development skills of ServiceNow, you can manage those types of things here, and then assign the appropriate agent to each of those work order tasks that they're going to have the skill to complete. The manager map, it's just going to be a Google-style map with the agent's locations on that map, so you can see where your entire team is located. Then there will be a couple list views of the work order tasks and recent work order tasks. So the work order task is just going to be your open work order tasks for your assigned agents, and then your recent work order tasks, you're basically viewing the same information, but just tasks that were created within the last 30 days. And then one other thing you're going to have is your timesheets that are pending approval. So any of your agents that you're managing there, you'll be able to go in and see those pending approval timesheets and approve or reject those if needed. There are definitely some other field services updates, so go check that out on the doc site for more information. And our last application we'll take a little bit deeper dive into is going to be the enterprise onboarding and transitions. So this is actually a part of the Human Resources Service Portal. As you can see here pictured, this is the Employee Service Center or the HR Service Portal that is a part of a plugin deactivate. It's just going to be the Human Resources Scope app. This particular section with the onboarding and transitions is a part of the Human Resources Scoped App Life Cycle Events plugin, so you would need to activate that as well. Once you activate that, you're going to get these onboarding and transition items as a part of this portal out of the box. They can be easily customized to meet your specific organization's workflows if necessary, but majority is going to be ready to use out of the box. And what this application does, it's going to allow a new hire to work right on day one. It's going to make everything easier as far as automating, streamlining those events that take place for any kind of onboarding or transitioning as well. And it's going to allow human resources to request, track activities that are fulfilled by departments across the organization. As you can see here in the dashboard, you're going to have a to-do list of things that you can accept or reject, different tasks that are being completed. As a human resources member, I can go in and actually view the workflow, kind of see where requests are standing. Also a big thing besides onboarding, it's going to support the transitional events, so offboarding, leave of absence, requests, and transfers, and those are all out of the box with this plugin. All right, and kind of wrapping up here, just some additional Jakarta features that that I thought was cool that I wanted to call out here kind of quickly. Underneath knowledge management, article versioning, knowledge subscription. I know those are some things that have been talked about for a while, so very cool to see those come into play in knowledge management. For notifications, image filtering. So this is going to keep those email signature logos out of the task comments. So if you're getting a lot of emails back and forth about an incident and so on, you won't see those logos getting dropped in there. Another cool application is communities. So it's just going to allow a place for users to engage, interact with the organization. It'll be a place where people can collaborate and quickly solve issues, and also allow them to learn about best practices from others. So similar to the actual ServiceNow community, if you've seen that, It's kind of an application developed within ServiceNow that is very similar to that. There are also updates to applications like Agile, event management, facilities, financial management, GRC, and a lot of others. So definitely couldn't cover all those within 30 minutes. But again, if you go back and look at that first slide, there's going to be a link to the Jakarta release notes, and it'll be all the information and more that you'll want to know about Jakarta. So before I wrap up and take some questions, I just wanted to thank everybody for listening today. And I guess, Mike, I'll turn it over to you, and we can go through some questions.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks, Dakota. Yeah, we're wrapping up at a good time, leaving us a few minutes for questions. But before people start to jump, just want to let you know again that today's webinar was recorded, so it will be up on fruitionpartners.com before end of this week. And as Dakota mentioned, obviously in 30 minutes we can only highlight a few of Jakarta's many enhancements and features. So if you have any questions about any of those covered today or any additional ones on that final slide, obviously check out the resources available to you by ServiceNow, but also reach out to us as well. You can send us an email at info@fruitionpartners.com. So we did have we had a handful of questions come in, so I'll get to those right now. And if we can't get your question during the webinar, we will most definitely follow up with you individually after the webinar. So your question will get answered whether here or afterwards. So we did have a few more around guided tours. Okay. One question is, what access/role is needed to set up the guided tours?
So let me take a look here. I don't know what the specific role is called. So the roles required for this, it's going to be SN_tour_builder.tour_admin, or obviously if you have the admin role, that's going to allow you to see this application. So those are definitely the main two there for that.
Okay. Another guided tour question was, is the guided tour available in the service portals?
That's a good question. So from what I was reading, it is available across the platform. The only testing that I did on it was within just the standard admin view or ITIL user view, not across the portal. So I don't want to answer specifically on that, but we can take that away and see if it's a part of that. I know this is geared towards end users a lot, so it is probably a part of the portal.
Yeah, we can follow up with you on that.
Yep.
Another guided tour question: once created some tours, will they also be able to be used for customers on previous instances, i.e. those who are not yet on Jakarta?
No, so guided tours is only a part of the Jakarta release. So if you're on a release version before that, you will not have the guided tour app available.
Okay. Next question about onboarding. Is the onboarding functionality plugin part of a premium license?
Let me see. Let me see if I can look this answer up here quickly. And I will say that it is a part of the Human Resources Scoped app. But yeah, let's take that one away as well, just to make double check and see if that Human Resources Scoped app does require some additional licensing.
Okay. All right. So yeah, we have a couple questions we'll follow up on. We actually have a few more that have come in, but just because where we're sitting on time, we'll have to follow up with you after the webinar. So look for an email from us to answer your question. Appreciate the interest. And but again, anything else comes up question-wise after the webinar, feel free to reach out to us, info@fruitionpartners.com. Appreciate everybody joining. And we did have one question about, will more topics be covered in the future? Because again, obviously we only covered a few. That's definitely something we'll take note of. And if we decide to do a follow-up webinar, we'll be sure to let you know. So appreciate all the interest today, guys, and we will be talking to you soon. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.